Hey, this is Al from Burntwood Workshop. Today we're going to talk about acrylic. How to melt acrylic, how to make cool stuff out of acrylic. Hopefully more cool stuff, but some melting. And we're going to talk about some different processes. This is a black acrylic, which actually works the nicest. This is a 5mm. Works really nice. This is in orange. The orange gets a little bit of a cupping to it. It needs more testing. I tried it again with a different speed setting. Came out a little straighter, a little flatter. And then we tried some different experiments with layered patterns. And we're going to go over that today. And some were fails. And we'll learn about that. One of the biggest things I found out with the orange is intricate details don't come out great. You can take this piece right here, is done in orange acrylic. And as you can see, the tree, and there's a lot of loss there. This is the same piece done in wood. So you can see, side by side, between the wood and the acrylic, there's a bit of a difference. Okay, so this is what we started with. Obviously, this is black and this is orange. This is thicker, though. This is 5mm versus 3mm. And you can see the black came out basically perfect. I mean, there's no curving, no nothing. Very smooth edges. The orange gets a bit of a rough edge. You want to do test grids if you can. This was an engraved that obviously this is way too hot, but it did help me with this to come out really nice with the test grid so you knew where the nice color was. This was done in a single pass versus a 2-pass. This was done in 2-pass at 6 speed. This was done in 1 pass at 4 speed. And I think it came out with less cupping, a little different size, but it definitely came out flatter. But this was an experiment I tried with a layered. This is what it looks like in wood with the layers, and this is how it came out in acrylic. As you can see, the bat disappeared, the branches disappeared. The crosses came out kind of thin. Everything came out a little thinner. So what I came up with was if you wanted to do an acrylic face, but you wanted the detail of wood, you could actually take and do the back piece in acrylic. And I made a ring so that you could take a wooden piece and put it inside so you can get your colors and your detail in the wood, but still have a really nice face on it in acrylic. And you could paint the ghost, and you would have orange all the way through rather than wood sides with the black. So it's a little different idea. Some people may like it, some people won't. I tried to expand my size. My tree came out with a few more branches, but still not quite what you get with wood. So I would say kind of a win on the doing it mixed with the wood. Okay, so I was talking about melting and stuff. It turns out the black acrylic, I did in a larger size. It came out really nice. So what I wanted to do was see if we could do it in the smaller size and get decent results. As you can see, the results are about the same on the small. So black acrylic cuts with beautiful detail. You can engrave, and the grays are actually just the engraved. So black engraved grays for Halloween, it's perfect. This was a key fob I made for my camper, and that works really nice. It's pretty solid too, works nice. Before I go into the programming part, I want to mention that you can download this file through XTool's Design Find. I shared it on there, and everything was done on the XTool S1 40-watt laser. Okay, we're going to design this whole thing right here in XCS. Okay, so for starters, we want our pumpkin. And I've already run through this numerous times before I got this video done, so this is where we're going to hopefully do this a little faster this time. We want it pretty much close enough to just a one-to-one trace, and we want the trace. We don't want that. Okay, on this trace, we're going to do a internal one, and that is going to be that original one. These are our original pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to make them red, just to keep them separate. We don't want the stem on this piece, so what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate that stem on this internal one by doing this. And combine, we're going to subtract, and that's going to take the stem right off of this piece, and that's going to make our original top piece. Or this is actually our liner piece, our inner piece. So we're going to take that, we're going to save that in that, and then we're going to copy it, we're going to paste it, and we're going to set one aside in here. And that's going to be our original. And then we're going to take this and we're going to make a work area in it, sort of a floor. So we're going to take that, we're going to combine the two by hitting subtract, and that's going to give us our little work area. And we're going to copy, and we're going to paste that. And we're going to set these aside. These are our originals. Okay, so everything from here on out is going to be made off of these, except that this actually needs to be smaller. This is actually going to be, if that is 3.66, we'll make this, try 3. Not 3, 30. There we go. And that will fit inside of there. It's a little too small, so to get it where we want it, we're just going to expand it a little bit. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That's our piece. This is not it. So we're going to do copy, paste. I'm going to make this purple. This is going to be our first layer. And I know it sounds kind of boring. It's actually a lot of fun. I enjoy this quite a bit. We're going to take this tree right here is going to be our focal point in this. So we're going to take him and we're going to zoom in, and we want that tree to be planted right kind of in the middle. I'd say right in the middle. I'm going to bring him down like that, and then we're going to go collect them all together, and we're going to hit subtract. And now that makes him a cutout of this part. Okay, so then we want a couple of tombstone or set crosses. So we're going to take this, we're going to do this, we're going to do it does want to try to line it up, so you have to take your arrows and set it where you want it. Your arrows will become your best friend on this. And then we're going to combine, and we're going to hit unite, and that's going to make our first cross. It's a little too big, so we're going to bring it down. We're going to put it here. And you want to make sure that it crosses this line so that when you combine it, it actually combines. So we're going to copy and we're going to paste. We'll tip this one a little bit and put it over here. That'll give us a couple crosses, and we will maybe add a small one here. And that'll do for crosses, I think. And then we want a tombstone. So for a tombstone, we're going to bring this up, and we're going to make this an even 2. And we're going to insert a circle. And we want that circle to be 2. And I've made the mistake of not correcting this and making them even, and it doesn't look quite right sometimes if you don't notice it. So just make sure you straighten it out if you want a perfect circle. And then we're going to hit combine, unite again. There's our tombstone. I'm going to put one, say, right here. Put a little bit of a skew on that one, make it a little smaller. And then if you wanted to do a tombstone with, say, a cross on it, you could take and copy, paste. Actually take this out of here when you do that. It'll make it a lot easier. You could unite. There's a tombstone with a cross on it. You put that in here. And it's entirely up to you what you want to do. I'm just doing... Okay, so we want to make sure that it united all of them. It did. Okay, so that is our first layer. And our first layer is going to end up copy, paste. Our first layer is going to end up going inside one of this. All right, we're going to take our little adjustment here. We're going to move our piece over, adjust this up so it looks pretty good. Okay, so we're going to move this to purple. And I moved it again. Okay, so then we're going to, it could be down, move down a little more. Something like that. Then we're going to group that. That's our first one. Okay. Now we're going to take this and we're going to copy. We're going to paste. And we'll make this one orange. And the orange one is going to be, this is actually going to be the back one, but it's a little easier to kind of set it up now. So we want in that, not that, we want, let's say this guy. Okay, so take this guy and we bring him down. Make sure he's attached here pretty good. And we hit subtract. And he is grouped onto there good. Now we want a nice little moon up here. We want it that's a little too big, but now if we lock it, it'll stay round. I've made the mistake of not locking it and drag it and having it drag to an oblong, weird looking moon. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's going to look really nice. Okay, so this is our next piece, and that's going to go, take your hand and move things where you want it, and we're going to take this again, and we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it, and we're going to turn it orange. I'm going to put it in over this one. You want to make sure it looks as close to the other one as you can get. And then we're going to group that. And then just to give you an idea, we're going to have something like that when we're done. But we need another layer to make it look better. So we're going to take this one, we're going to copy it, we're going to paste it. We're going to take this one, we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it. I'm going to turn this one blue, And this one blue. And you don't have to change the colors. I just do this sometimes to just differentiate. There. Man, did not want to go to blue. Okay, so in this one, we want a couple of bats. So we want, say, one of them over the moon, and one of them over here. So we're going to take them both down to their work area. And then we'll bring this guy into here like that. Bring him over a little more. And then this one, we're going to shrink down. We're going to tip him. Something like that. And that's going to be a combine. It's not going to be a combine. See, that's sometimes you got to watch. It's not unite, it's subtract. Always remember it's subtract. Okay, so that's our next one. And that is layer. It's our third layer. And that looks pretty much like the others, so we're going to hit group. And then we're going to take this one. Actually, we're going to copy and we're going to paste that one. And we want that. We have 3 inserts and a front. So that's the 3 inserts plus the front. We want these 3 inserts. Actually, I could have just... That's one. Sometimes you do moves you don't need to do. Get rid of that. So we're going to copy this. We want 3 inserts. And then we've got a front and a back we want. And the front and the back we want to cover up these pieces. So this is going to be 3.666. Talk about a Halloween number. Okay, so we want that to actually be the size of the inside of this one. So we've got to ungroup this. Pick the inside, which is 3.358, which I knew was that. So 3.358 is what we want this to be. 3.358. Okay. So that one is going to be a face piece or a front. We want it lined up good. We want to copy it and we want to paste it. And then we want to take this one and we want to copy it and we want to paste it. And at this point we can pause. So I did a test cut with the black and the black came out really nice. So what I want to do is I want to make a 3-layer instead of a 4-layer. I want to make a 3-layered acrylic with an orange back, a black middle, and an orange face. So what we're going to do is, this is going to be our orange face. So we're going to take that and we're going to group it and we're going to change it to orange. Okay. This we want to be our back, but we want this interior piece to be this size. So this piece is 3.666, but we're going to go a little bit smaller than that. We're going to go 3.6. How does that look? That looks decent. Okay, so there's a good size there. And then we want the middle layer to be black. This layer is going to be orange. So we're going to group that. We're going to change it to orange. I thought I did that's orange. Okay, so these two are our back and our front. Now we want the two black ones, these two, we want to get those. Use your arrow to get it lined up really nice. I think that looks good. We'll find out. And unite is the wrong one. The best thing I could do is possibly just take the bats back out of here, which would be the easiest. So we want this one. And what we want to do is we want to match it to this one. As best we can. I'd say that's close enough. Put that there. And then we want that bat. That's this guy right here. I do wish they would put them in the area you're working in when you put them up there, though. And now I shrunk it down too small. It's the one thing I find annoying is they do drop these in random places. So we're going to put that there. I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to take this and we're going to hit subtract. And there's our piece. And we want to make this 3.6. And that one's going to go, let's put it in this one. Like that. I'm going to move that around a little bit. And that looks pretty centered. So I take this, we're going to go group, move to black. And that is our black acrylic layer. We don't need, whoops, we don't need this. We don't need this. And we don't need either one of these now. And then we're going to take our orange and we're going to set those to cut. Okay, so we're going to set our power to 100 and we're going to set our speed to 3 and we're going to do one pass. On the black, we're going to set our power to, we're going to set it to cut. We're going to set our power to 100 and we're going to set our speed to 4. So we're going to set our, on the black one, we're going to set our power to 100 and our speed to 4. And now we're done with this and we're ready to run it. So what I wanted to do was add the gray to the black in an engrave. So what I did was the green is actually going to be the engrave. So the engrave is a power of 30 and a speed of 450. And that'll give you a nice gray. And then what I wanted was a foot on the bottom. So to make a foot on the bottom, what I did was I went to the 2 high spots as best I could. And I made a rectangle. That'll be our piece that's going to go into our base. And then you want this to actually stick out 1/8 of an inch. So what I do to get 1/8 of an inch is I make this little block here, 125. That's 1/8 of an inch. Then we can zoom in on this like that. We're going to set that right to this point right there. Then we're going to take this and we're going to slide it up until it's even with that. And now we are a tiny bit high. Kick that down with an arrow. Okay, so that is 1/8 of an inch sticking out of the bottom. So now we take this and we delete it. We scroll out and we click on this, and it's still combined. So we want to ungroup this just to make sure we don't mess the whole thing up. Then we're going to select just these and we're going to hit Unite. And there's our foot. Now, if you want to make the base, you just make a circle, or you can make a square one, whatever you want. So we make this. This whole thing is 4.14 wide. So we're going to make this 4.14 wide. And then we're going to put a rectangle in here. And we're going to unlock it. And we know that the width of the rectangle is the 125 for the 1/8 inch. And then the length of it is going to be, the easiest way to do this is to rotate this 90 and just bring it, because I should have written down what the size of the rectangle I did was, but I didn't. So we're going to unlock this. Zoom in a little bit. I'm going to make this the same size that. It can be a tiny bit bigger just to make it easier, but you definitely want to make sure it is not smaller. Okay, so then you're going to rotate this 90 again. And you're going to center this up in here, like that. Okay, so just to speed things up a little bit, on the orange, I put the ghost that we used in here, and then I basically switched him to engrave, and the speed for that is 100. The power for that's 100, and the speed is 300, and that'll give us our little white ghost in our image here. And that is the entire thing. Okay, so what I did was I created a smaller version in black in the acrylic to see what our results are. The engrave is done, it's in the cutting process right now. So once we get done cutting, we'll see what the results are with the smaller one. Okay, so here's the reveal on the small one. Let's see how we did. All right, what I like to do is take it out with a piece of tape. That way, if it doesn't cut all the way through, you can put it back in and rerun it. But that is black acrylic in a small size. So I would say the black acrylic is a win. Okay. So one last experiment before we call it a quits here is on this, you have this white edge. Now, with clear acrylic and that type of thing, you used to be able to take a torch and make it look better. Basically, take that off. So what we're going to do here is we're going to give it a little try and see. I don't know if it made a huge difference, but there's the transition from torching it to that. Now, I don't know about fire safety or anything like that. I don't hold it on there too long, but that does bring that orange out a little better. Another possibility of something to try. I also want to mention that the keychain and the other cutouts that I did with the high detail were done in 3mm, not 5. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but a little thinner, 3mm versus 5. So the results we have are basically, this is a 4-inch done in black and orange. As you can see closely, you can see the kerf on the orange is a little bit larger than the kerf on the black. So you want to compensate for that. So if I make this 4, I would probably go a little larger on the kerf, maybe like a 4.2. That'll take a little more experimenting. And this is the first one we tried. And what I want to do was see if the tree could maintain its detail. And as you can see, the tree maintained its detail. Everything did just fine with the black. So the black and the orange can mix together very nicely, mixing your details with the black and doing engraving on the orange, because the engraving on that is excellent. So some stuff to work with. Okay, so this is a wrap up my acrylic video. If you like my video, hit like, subscribe. I've got a lot more videos coming, but this is a wrap up of what we did. This is black, done at 100 power, 4-speed, 1 pass. The engraving was done at 30 power, 450 speed. This one was done at 100 power, 6-speed, 2 passes for cutting, and then 100 power, 300 speed for the engraving. And then I did this one at 100 power, 3-speed, 1 pass, and I think it has less cupping to it. So run your test grids, do some experimenting. It's a lot of fun. Might even be able to get this to come out better than I did. Hope to see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.